Alright, so I'd like to welcome everybody back to the channel. I got my RC10 B5M here, and I'm working on doing the electronics. Also, I'd like to welcome you to Mason City, Iowa, which is where the music died. For those of you who don't know, Buddy Holly, the Big Bop, and Richie Valens were killed in a plane crash in this area. But anyway, I've already soldered on my Dean's connector, which is what I run. A lot of people run bullet connectors. I prefer myself to run Dean's. It allows me to run different batteries in different vehicles. But anyway, what I've got here as far as the speed controller goes, I picked up this Hobby Wing. This is a XR10 Pro brushless speed controller. This is designed to handle, this is a 160 amp speed controller with 1200 amp peak. This allows me to basically run any motor that I want to run, whether I want to run a stock or I want to run a mod. So this is a speed controller that I'm running. As far as the receiver goes in this car, I'm going to run a Radio Link 6F. This is a 2.4. This is a 6-channel. This allows me to run my Radio Link 6-channel radio, which I run in most of my vehicles. I have it in my Scout and I have it in my Losi truck. Also, I'm running a Savox 4096 servo in this car, and then the motor is a 6.5 turn Tinkin Gen 2. So with this speed controller you can run sensor or sensorless, either one. But I've got my Weller soldering iron hooked up here in the truck, and this is what I'm using today. I also have part of my stand that I made yesterday in a video, and I'm using this to solder my wires up, to add a little solder to my wires. This way I don't ruin the table in the truck here. These tables are expensive, so I don't want to do that. But we'll finished getting this all soldered in here. These are marked on this speed controller. Blue is A, yellow is C, or yellow is B, I'm sorry, and orange is C. The motors are marked A, B, and C, so you want to make sure you get those in the right spot also. The one thing I did notice with this car, there is very, very little room in this car for mounting electronics. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but like I said, there's And I'm not one of the best out there at doing this. I've never claimed to be, but been doing this a long time, and I've always had pretty good success with my solder joints holding up, so. I have these helping hands that I use once I get my big fat fingers out of the way. Sorry about that, folks. Trying something different places with the camera. But pick these up at Harbor Freight. They're pretty handy to have. They have a little magnifying glass on them too, but I don't have mine on right now for this. These are like $5 at Harbor Freight. If you got a 20% off coupon, then hey, you're good to go. One of the things I did do was, I don't have an opinion on this motor yet, but I did go by and put one of the screws in the motor to hold it into place to give me a solid point to hold my motor in place while I did my soldering and stuff. So, and I get my cord out of the way here for my soldering iron. Oops, and I'll scoot this out of the way here. So I've got my ESC soldered up. I'm going to go ahead and double check, make sure I got my wires in the right spot. As I said before, the ESC is lettered C. You have your minus here for your negative, which I have on my negative lead for my Dean's connector. B, which is the yellow one here, which goes to B on my motor, and then of course A. Now I slid the shrink tubing, it comes in here with it. I went ahead and slid it on anyway. You don't have to. I did. And I will see whether or not yeah, it'll still flex enough with that on there. So kind of doing this kind of primitive style. I'm just going to go by and I could probably leave them loose on there if I wanted to. Good enough for me. I'm not going for anything super spectacular here. I don't want to get too much more heat into these. So anyway, the mounting area up here for the electronics is real small. As you can see, the servo's taking up a lot of its room in there. So what my plans are is so that everything's still easily accessible. is I'm going to mount my speed controller here in the chassis. That'll give me enough room to mount this in beside it and still fit my 6-channel receiver on the other side. It allows me to get to my wires and everything to go by and program my speed controller. Everything will be neatly tucked out of the way under the body. And you can do it however you want. This is how I'm doing it in this particular car. In another car, different chassis, I might be doing it different. I'm trying to keep all my weight essentially located in my chassis. So that's part of what I'm doing here. Try to keep the weight centered and stuff in the chassis. Done soldering, so I'm going to go by and set my handy dandy car stand up that we made. Now this side of the chassis here is where I'm sticking my receiver at, and we'll place it down in here, try to get it centered as big as we can. There it is. Our speed control go right beside it. Our capacitors will go right here beside it. Now the reason for picking this location is it gives me room to route my wiring around to get it tucked in. I'm kind of funny about wiring and stuff, so I'll tuck all my wiring around, tie up any excess wiring and stuff. The speed controller is marked this around so y'all can see it. This is all in instructions. There's 100 YouTube videos on how to do this. But anyway. Now, the one mistake I noticed I made, and even we all make mistakes, is that I did not pair up my receiver before I mounted in there. So, down on this end of my receiver is where the button is to do the pairing, but until I go by and hook the speed controller in and set it up. But I believe I can make something to go down in there. Worst case scenario, I have to peel it back up, which I have plenty of tape. So anyway, I'm going to run a shorty battery pack in this. And I'm going to get in here and I'm going to tie up all my wires and get everything set up. And I will be right back. Well, folks, sometimes it's just not your day. I'm obviously having one of those days. I went to turn on my transmitter to pair up, hook everything up, start pairing everything up, and because I screwed up, the batteries in my transmitter are dead. So we are not going to go by and pair this all up today and program the speed controller. Guess we'll be saving that for another day. I will get batteries for it tomorrow, and we will do that tomorrow. Kind of hoping to do all that today, but hey, such is life sometimes. We all make mistakes. And but anyway, there's not a lot of room under this chassis. Like I said, I'll go by and tie these up a little bit later. But I'll stick the wing back on real quick here. I do have a new body coming for this car, which will be painted to match my truck, my Losi truck. Yeah, the wires need a little work to tuck them down yet, but anyway. So there it is. We'll go by and I'll do a video tomorrow. And I'll get the electronics taken care of in this car. Program the ESC, get it all set up, and get all that stuff taken care of. So, but got the soldering part of it done, so now we're just ready to go by and hook everything up. Anyway, as always, please feel free to post your comments below. Like and share my videos. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And there's a look out the window for tonight. So everybody be safe out there. Get out there and spend some time with the family, work on some RC stuff. And thanks for watching. Have a good evening.